So for many years in our company, even before I started working with my business partner Nancy Ulrich, the basis of the business was the telephone survey. Most of your public opinion polls are conducted on the telephone. But over the past 5 to 10 years, they have really become hard to conduct. We have the do not call list. I think over 30% of our households in the United States are now on the do not call list. And even though it doesn't apply to the marketing research industry, try telling that to somebody you call who says, my name's on the do not call list, why are you calling me? They just don't want to hear it. And then, of course, as probably you do, I use caller ID to screen my calls, and if I don't recognize the number, I'm not answering. So people are answering the phone less. That means it takes us longer to complete the same number of interviews, and that adds to the cost. Then we have the rise of the mobile phone-only household, especially among young people. Do any of you not have a landline any longer? Anybody just have a mobile phone? I think...
well, we do Comcast now, but that
okay,
there was
yeah.
a reason for that, but it wasn't anything.
I think under age 45, it's like 30 or 35% of the households.
It's at least that.
And we can't dial them with computer-assisted dialing. So mobile phones are hard to reach, therefore we don't reach those households, and we don't get enough young people in our surveys. And that means we get a lot of older people who are at home and answering the phone, and we don't have samples that are representative of the market. So what researchers are doing is that they're adding samples, like a listed sample of younger households to their telephone survey samples, so that we supplement enough young people to get the proper balance that we're looking for. But that means it's no longer strictly a random sample, so it gets more complicated.
You're saying they're doing that to get that statistical suite?
Yeah, to get it in there.
Okay.
And also, instead of just reporting the results of the survey, they will weight the data statistically, such that if I need to have, say, 50 people under age 35 in my survey, and I only get 25, the computer will count each person twice, so that I now have a statistical sample of 50. If I have 50 people over age 75 and I need 25 in my sample, I'll count each one of those 1/2 of the time. And it's all done by the computer. It puts the sample into balance, but it can mean that you're taking risks by weighting up the number of people that you have. So what they're doing today is conducting telephone surveys with samples of landline or household telephones, the traditional way, and then instead of auto-dialing as most computer interviewing is done, not by a real person, but it's done like in a telemarketing center, they will then dial a sample of mobile phones and pay those people for participating, because after all, most people have to pay for their minutes, and that means the surveys are getting more expensive. But that's what most of the big polling firms do today, to make sure that they have a sample that includes the mobile phone only household.